My tribute to Ozzy Osbourne. Hello, everybody. Tom here. Hope you're all well. I want to pay tribute today to somebody that I grew up with. I grew up with his music, I grew up with his madness, and I think it's only right that I pay homage today to John Michael Osborne, known to most of us as Ozzy, over in Birmingham. He's a man that was local to Aston, a fellow Aston Villa fan, as I am, and somebody that created a movement out of nowhere. Some would argue he is the godfather and one of the formers of heavy metal music. Began in the late 60s, early 70s. Him and his personal friends formed the band Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath went on to be very successful with a lot of iconic songs that we all know. Paranoid being probably the most famous. And basically, from then on, began a life less than ordinary, shall we say. He lived the rock and roll lifestyle to excess, which in later life did cause a lot of health issues. But even after him leaving Black Sabbath in the 80s, he went on to do a solo career. And then in the early noughties, there was, of course, the reality TV show The Osbournes, shown on MTV. Now, I never met Ozzy Osbourne. I don't profess to be his biggest fan. I did once meet a member of his family. I met a second cousin of his over in Aldridge in Warsaw, which isn't too far from where I live or where I grew up. In fact, my grandparents lived in Aldridge in Warsaw. And by all accounts, I think it's Ozzy's sister, lived in the street next to my grandparents. And according to my dad, I don't know how true this is, whenever they were in the UK, rare as it was, because obviously they moved to LA, he'd come back and he'd go over and he'd have Sunday dinner at his sister's whenever they were visiting. So that's nice in itself. But sadly, on the 22nd of July this year, Ozzy passed away. He'd been fighting Parkinson's disease for a few years and his condition had got quite bad. Despite this, earlier in July, he did his final gig, kind of back to the beginning sort of thing, for all of the loyal fans, Aston Villa's football stadium, Villa Park. He could barely stand, but was absolutely determined he was going to give his loyal supporters and fans one last gig. He's left behind a wife and 6 children, grandchildren, and many adoring fans across the world. Here in the UK, in England, over in America. To sum him up, he was the local lad that come good. And a larger than life character, the sort of person that, from what I could see, could light up a room. And also somebody who really lived life, even if it was absolutely crazy at times. So I want to end my video today by saying thank you, Ozzy. Thank you for the music. Thank you for your madness. Thank you for being you. We will miss you. Your legacy will live on through your music, through your lyrics. You know, it's a sign I'm getting older that some of the people that I used to like as a child are starting to die now. It's a shame that that's a sign of getting older. A couple of days after Ozzy passes, then Hulk Hogan dies, and you're just thinking, who's next, you know? But yeah, I thought I had to come on today and pay my respects to this man. He formed a movement. He gained fans. Some would say his behaviour was unacceptable. I would just say that it was a bit madcap. And there's never a dull moment around him. So yeah, that's my words. Rest in peace, Ozzy. Thank you. Guys, first of 3 videos this week. I want to say thank you all ever so much for listening. I really appreciate your time and energy spent here on my channel. Thank you kindly. First of 3, as I said, please put down in the comment section below, what are your favourite memories of Ozzy Osbourne? Are you somebody that was lucky enough to go to his final gig? Are you someone that's been fortunate enough to have met the man? Whatever your feelings or thoughts are to him, there's a lot of people in religious parts who would say that the guy was anti-God and then he was a devil worshipper. We have to look beyond sometimes the act that someone's portraying. This man may have referred to himself as the Prince of Darkness. However, I think we must remember that this is all an act, all right? Let's compare it with somebody like Marilyn Manson, Brian Warner as he's commonly known as. Yes, he'll do stuff that's considered by a lot of religious parties like wrong and very anti-Christ and very anti-God. But the fact of the matter is, it's just an act. He's not a devil worshipper, and neither was Ozzy. It was just an act. We must see past the act and see that actually there's a person there, and that person wasn't anti-religion. By all accounts, Ozzy was actually quite religious. So let's not draw that conclusion from what we think we know. Please, if you would, consider hitting that subscribe button down below. That'd be great. And please, 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 consider giving me a thumbs up and a like. I'd really appreciate that. And let's see that bell sign go ding dong so you know when next content's out. I'll be back in a few days with another video. But as always, until then, please take care of yourselves. And bye for now.